Special Issue Task Force, how can I help you? And joining us in the studio for the latest in Special Issue Task Force is Haeyoung. Haeyoung, hello to you.
Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Happy Tuesday. You know, there's talks about interesting discussion going on. How would I do as a bartender?
Oh, I think you'll be okay. Not the best bartender, but you'll
Why?
be okay.
I wasn't a bartender, but I was such a good host when we had a wine party, didn't I?
Yes, you're one of the best hosts.
And I said, this
you
wine
explained
tastes
everything, but I don't remember a thing. That's the problem. That's the problem.
I was explaining with every wine what it's supposed to taste like, how you're supposed to drink it, and what you're supposed to pair with.
They tasted all the same.
That's true.
All the same.
All I remember is towards the back, I was like, oh my goodness, it tastes so good. Next one, oh my goodness, it tastes so good.
Tastes the same.
Everything tastes the same. Everything tastes good. That's why in any wine party, especially in a wine party, you always drink the expensive one first. And then bring out the cheap ones later on.
Like G7.
There is never a G7 in my household.
In your household?
Never.
What if I change the bottle? And
I would know.
the different bottle.
I would.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would definitely. I mean, I've never had G7, but I would know. I do a lot of blind tests.
We'll see.
I do a lot of blind
Maybe
tests.
next time when we have a chance.
Oh my goodness. Guys, we have fun.
I'll test you.
Guys, we have fun. Today we have two major developments that's been dominating the news, guys. I mean, it's big. The special prosecutor's probe into former First Lady Kim Gun-hee, the Liberation Day presidential pardon, sparking fierce debate. Haeyoung, let's talk about this.
Yes, these two politically charged topics are not only about legal cases or political maneuvering, but also about symbolism and history, which marks and makes them even more fascinating to unpack. Now, let's start with the Kim Gun-hee story. Kim is the wife of former President Yoon Suk-yeol, of course, who is in prison now and continues to refuse to be questioned.
Yes.
And her name has been tied to multiple allegations for years, ranging from bribery, soliciting favors, meddling in political nominations, to alleged stock price manipulation. And this year, those allegations became the focus of a special prosecutor, a rare high-level investigation in Korea, usually reserved for cases involving sitting or former presidents and their families.
Now, if you guys remember, when the PPP was still in power, when they were still the ruling power, after the impeachment, they tried even then they were trying to get in on the the special counsel probe into former First Lady, now former First Lady, and then they kept on rejecting it, right? Getting vetoed, right? Got vetoed by whoever was the acting president every time.
That's right.
Now that is not the case, and before the prosecutors were basically saying we didn't find any evidence. There was no evidence into any soliciting that she was doing.
Now we have tons of evidence.
But all of a sudden now, big evidence coming in. Even the biggest evidence coming in today. We'll talk about that.
Later.
But she made a very high-profile appearance last week, right?
Yes, going back to her first high-profile appearance last week on August the 6th, she arrived at the special prosecutor's office for questioning, and it became a media spectacle, of course. There were dozens of cameras, live coverage. But what really caught people's attention was a single phrase she uttered. "I'm just someone with nothing. I sincerely apologize for causing concern to the people. 국민 여러분께 저같이 아무것도 아닌 사람이 심려를 끼쳐서 진심으로 죄송합니다." And it became like a buzzword here in Korea. And that sounds humble on the surface, but many are guessing there's more to it. Analysts here saw it as a calculated strategy by calling herself someone with nothing. She seemed to suggest that she had no power, no authority, and therefore no reason to be guilty of political arrest, crimes. In fact, she was distancing herself from the accusations, subtly implying that if anything wrong was done, it was her husband's doing, not hers.
Now, what's coming out to light right now is that some are saying that maybe it was not Yoon who was making a lot of the decisions during the year and a half or 2 years that he was in office, that Kim Gun-hee was...
Rumor has it she was V0.
Oh,
Yeah.
She was the VIP.
VIP.
She was the VIP, and she was making all the decisions. Of course, the other controversy is the nominations that she apparently was making. And now soliciting, meddling, bribery, all of this is going to come out. So today, August 12th, Tuesday, I mean, it was a big day in court. This is when we find out whether or not an arrest warrant is going to be issued for Kim Gun-hee.
Yeah, this morning, Kim appeared at Seoul Central District Court for a detention hearing, and the special prosecutor submitted an over 800-page detention request memo, 40 times longer than the standard arrest warrant application, arguing that she might destroy evidence or influence witnesses if not detained. And her defense team submitted a medical certificate citing severe depression and a recent hospital stay in June. And here's another important news that came out this afternoon. The special investigation team announced that construction firm Seohee Construction had submitted a written statement admitting it purchased a very luxury brand gift, Van Cleef & Arpels necklace, and gave it to former First Lady Kim Gun-hee. And that necklace that Kim wore during Yoon Suk-yeol's trip to NATO summit has been at the center of controversy for weeks amid suspicions that Kim Gun-hee received the super expensive high-priced item as a bribe and used her influence in return. But Kim claimed it was a fake. But investigators now say she hid the counterfeit at a relative's home to mislead the probe and deceive the special counsel. And the team suspects that these actions were part of an attempt to obstruct the investigation and destroy evidence, and vowed to thoroughly investigate the entire process and also people who were involved in hindering the probe. And now Kim Gun-hee has been moved to the Southern Detention Center, where she is awaiting the court's decision on her arrest warrant. And the result is expected to come out tonight before the midnight. And if she's detained, this would be historic. It would mark the first time in South Korea's constitutional history that a former president and first lady were both detained at the same time.
Guys, think about it, right? This necklace is like $60,000, all right? And then, so they were saying it's a fake. You know, I
now
bought
it's $80,000.
Oh, it's $80,000,
yes.
$80,000, right? I bought it in Hong Kong in a fake shop. Okay, this is a person probably that doesn't wear any fake stuff, right? Spends a lot of money. And then somehow it's found in a relative's
place. Even before that certain model was released.
Yeah, exactly.
She said, she bought it from Hong Kong.
And so they were going to do a raid on Seohee Construction, right? And Seohee Construction, ladies and gentlemen, was one of the construction companies that were supposed to be getting a deal for Ukraine after Yoon went there to talk about all this stuff. And so when they went in for a raid, it turns out this Seohee Construction, they completely wiped out their entire place.
Right, that's right.
They threw away the evidence before it came out, right? And so they even closed out their building. And then when they realized that the further they tried to kind of like run away from this, the further their business is just going to go down.
Yes.
They just said, all right, you know what?
We did it.
We have it. We have it. You know what? We have the real necklace. Here it is. This is the smoking gun.
Right.
This is what we talk about when we talk about the smoking gun. It's done. It's going to happen. I mean, this is probably a little bit of the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the other investigation that they need to do on Kim Gun-hee. But this is big stuff now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure next week we'll get you guys more updates on this. In the meantime, the government announced on Monday Liberation Day special pardons. It happens. It's a traditional, which has sometimes, you know, there's controversy here and there when it comes to pardons, right? Seong, for our listeners that might not know, let's talk about the significance of Liberation Day in Korea.
Sure. Liberation Day, August 15th, marks the end of Japan's colonial rule over Korea in 1945. And it's a deeply symbolic day celebrating national freedom and resilience. And every year, it's one of the biggest national holidays here. And occasionally, presidents have used it as a moment for granting special pardons, framing it as an act of unity or reconciliation. On Monday, President Lee Jae-myung, the administration finalized a list that pardoned over 2,100 individuals, including 27 politicians and senior public officials, as well as 16 business executives. And the stated goal was national unity and economic revitalization. But the names on the list have stirred intense debate. And one of the most talked about names is Cho Guk. Cho is a former justice minister under Moon Jae-in administration and founder of the Rebuilding Korea Party, Cho Guk Hyoksin 신당. He was serving a prison sentence for academic admission fraud involving his children. But under this pardon, his remaining sentence is lifted and his political rights are restored.
And that's, of course, triggered strong reactions.
Yes, supporters say Cho was the victim of a politically motivated investigation under then Prosecutor General Yoon Sung-yeol, and that he symbolizes the fight against what they see as prosecutorial overreach. And critics but argue that political figures should not be pardoned so easily as it undermines the justice system. And controversy doesn't stop there. Other pardoned figures include Choi Kwang-uk, Yoon Mi-hyang, former Seoul Education Chief Cho Hee-yeon, and from the opposition party, former lawmakers Hong Mun-jong, Jung Chan-min were also pardoned, and also others on the list include like multiple business tycoons implicated in corruption scandals such as former Samsung and SK executives. And this quote-unquote balanced approach, pardoning both ruling and opposition-aligned figures, has been criticized as political barter. It's like you free some of ours and we'll free some of yours.
Scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Yes, right.
Politically risky for President Lee, but public sentiment is not very positive neither.
Yeah, because the backlash has been strong enough to dent his approval rating, some political analysts believe he wasn't making a political calculation at all, since it offers him little short-term gain, but rather acting out of a sense of obligation to Cho-guk, who supported him in the last presidential election by ensuring his own party did not field a candidate. And others see it as part of his broader agenda to push prosecutorial reform.
Ooh. We'll see what happens, guys.
Yes.
I mean, there's always controversies with the pardons. When former President Park Geun-hye was pardoned, when Lee Myung-bak was pardoned, all of this, there's always controversies.
And you know
right?
what's very dramatic is we talked about the former then prosecutorial general Yoon Sung-yeol. He himself is in prison now, and his wife may soon join him behind bars, and Cho-guk is walking free on the Liberation Day. So it's very dramatic.
Yeah, it really is, right? We're going to talk about other issues making the headlines here in Korean. What's everybody talking about in the office? For first, let's take a listen to a song here from Purple Kiss with 돼지목의 진주 목걸이, or Cast Pearls Before Swine.
Hey! Stop looking at the clock. We still got more work at the Culture Inc.
And that was Purple Kiss with Cast Pearls Before Swine, 돼지목의 진주 목걸이. And Crash Override had a question, what does the title mean? If you translate it word by word, it just means a pearl necklace around a pig's neck. However, the saying is, if you give a pearl necklace to a pig, they don't really know the true value of the pearl necklace. And so,
when someone doesn't deserve something very nice.
Yeah.
So in this song, it means the Purple Kiss was saying that her ex-boyfriend, the Purple Kiss was the 돼지목의 진주 목걸이 to her ex-boyfriend.
Yes. And I'm not going to explain why we played that song. Let's go.
Because the song is so good.
Yeah, the song is so good.
Yes.
We haven't heard Purple Kiss in so long. That's why we want to listen to Purple Kiss. Let's go into our next big one. This is big. I saw this news earlier this morning. You guys have, I'm sure a lot of you guys have already watched this, K-pop Demon Hunters. I haven't watched it. Have you watched this?
I did.
You did? I haven't watched this.
You haven't? Why not?
No. I have.
You just didn't want to?
I have so many other things to watch.
Like 나는
솔로, 돌싱글스,
but you're the host of K-Culture Inc.
Yeah, but that's culture.
K-culture.
But think about it. Why am I watching?
There are so many Korean cultural elements
what is
in
the
that
biggest? What's the biggest
movie.
problem we have here in the country?
What is it?
Low birth rate. Low birth rate, right? So in order to resolve,
That can never be an excuse because I also have 2 kids.
Actually, I played it for my daughter. She really likes it. She likes the music. She likes to dance around.
Already? Wow. She's going to be the next K-pop Demon Hunters maybe.
She might be the next Isuji. I don't know.
Isuji.
It's been making waves, right? Everybody's been talking about this, but also making waves in tourism, business, online communities. Here, let's talk about what's behind this phenomenon and why it matters beyond the streaming charts.
Yes, K-pop Demon Hunters, in Korean K-pop Demon Hunters, or KDHon in short. But we've also talked about this during Coffee Break.
Yes.
Angel's Coffee Break.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure many of our listeners have already watched it, different from SJ. But to give you a quick background, it's a Netflix animated series blending K-pop, action, and Korean cultural elements in a way that's clearly echoing worldwide. And in just a few weeks, it shot up the platform's global rankings, staying in the top tier for multiple weeks. And its soundtrack even climbed major music charts like Billboard. And I wish Yujin was here so she could sing for us, right?
Why don't you sing
The original.
for us?
I'm not tone deaf. I told you that.
You're not tone deaf? What, have we never heard you sing? You just did the Chongin, right?
Except for Chongin, thing.
I realize I've never heard Taeyang sing.
So what's the next?
We have to have a 회식
continue.
soon. We have to have a 회식 soon. Billboard #1, guys. Hot 100 single charts, golden, right?
Yes.
That's the big thing right now. But let's talk about the scope of his success. How big are we talking about here?
Well, according to streaming data, the series ranked among the top viewed Netflix animations globally within just 7 weeks of release. And we've seen millions of viewing hours logged, and Google Trends shows massive spikes in search interest. And on social media, fan-made videos, dance cover, reaction clips have been spreading like wildfire. And it's not just K-pop fans. A lot of new viewers are discovering Korean pop culture through this show for the first time. And of course, the entertainment industry are paying attention. And major companies like CJ ENM and HYBE see this as proof that Korean stories can travel far beyond live-action dramas and idol groups. And CJ is reportedly working on new global collaborations, including music-focused streaming series, while HYBE is expanding partnerships with U.S. labels and launching multinational groups. But there's also a note of caution. The intense K-pop training system doesn't always translate smoothly overseas.
No.
So cultural differences and concerns over work conditions mean you can't just copy and paste the Korean model without adjustments. So that's one of the hurdles that they will have to overcome.
Guys, I'm a big fan of soft power. Soft power has done wonders for Korea so far. And what it also does is brings in a large number of tourism in it. And I've heard that this series is actually drawing in tourists.
Yes. The Seoul Tourism Organization is setting up themed goods zones tied to K-pop Demon Hunters at real filming-inspired locations that include Namsan, Bukchon, Hanok Village, and the Hangang River. And I heard James is coming to Korea soon, Seoul soon.
Is he telling everybody that he's coming
so
to
James,
Korea?
hope you wrote them down. And these are already popular landmarks, but adding the show's imagery gives visitors, especially international fans, an extra reason to visit. And local shop owners are preparing special merchandise, and as part of a bigger push to connect key content with in-person tourism experiences. And like Angela explained earlier, thanks to the popularity of K-pop Demon Hunters, the National Museum of Korea has become a real hotspot, and I think it's so fascinating.
John says, I don't know, Diddy's making a band was almost like K-pop trade. Dude, I can't believe you still remember that show, Making a Band. You know Diddy? that Diddy? He had a reality show a long time ago. Long time ago. It was called Making a Band. And oh my goodness, I still can't believe. Was that on MTV or was that on VH1, John? Oh my goodness. Let's talk about the fan power, okay? Fandom seems especially active online when it comes to this, right? I've got all of our listeners, some of our listeners, Jenga messaging me, Nya was telling me, I think Bahar was also telling me to do this Saja Boy dance or something.
Boys.
I was like, what is the Saja Boy? What's the Saja Boy dance? I know the Soldier Boy dance.
Guys, SJ can't dance Saja Boys.
I could do the Soldier Boy dance.
It's like 20 years ago.
Yes,
right?
it was like
20, 30 years ago.
20, 30 years ago. That probably was. But anyways, let's talk about the fandom.
Well, it's been incredible. On TikTok and YouTube, you'll find dance challenges, cosplay, and even animated fan edits that blend the show's scenes with popular K-pop tracks. And this kind of user-generated content, not only K-pop Demon Hunters, but other K-dramas as well. It keeps the series in public conversation well after each episode drops. And because this platform platforms are so global, a fan in different countries like anywhere, like Brazil or the Philippines, can create something that goes viral in Korea the very next day. And in the meantime, there's an interesting behind-the-scenes story going on these days on the production side. The dubbing process. You can watch Kaedehon in Korean now, and I believe it will be wonderful too. So you should definitely check it out. Yeah.
But beyond all this positivity, right, were there any criticism or maybe concerns with the show?
Yes, some observers point out that as Korean pop culture goes global, there's a risk of oversimplifying or commercializing aspects of the culture, and others worry about the K-pop training model being exported without adapting to local labor norms or societal norms. But still, most agree that K-pop Demon Hunters shows how Korean cultural elements can be used as sources to tell stories that connect across the different cultures.
There you have it, guys. Well, it's only fair that we listen to the #1 Billboard Hot 100 singles chart topper. It's history being made here. This is Hunter X, of course, with the K-pop Demon Hunters cast singing Golden. This is K-pop Demon Hunters cast. Hunter X, EJ, Audrey,
Golden.
Luna, Ami, Golden.
I love this song. Don't you love this song?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
hiding.
I enjoyed the talk that I had. We had a music talk while the music was going on. And we were talking about all the radio stations we're listening to.
Please, can you please stop?
And then I was like,
It's
she's
gonna
like,
reveal our age.
she's like, I like Neo. And I was like, I like Neo too. Neo had good songs.
I like Chris Brown, with you.
That was a good song until, he did Naughty,
Like,
he
yes.
hit Rihanna.
I loved Rihanna too.
Umbrella.
Ella. No, let's talk about K-pop.
John says someone was playing this song in the hallway outside my office yesterday. I mean, it's gotten big, right? Let's talk about South Korea's shrinking military. We knew this was going to happen, especially we talked about the population going down, birth rate low. South Korea's military rapidly shrinking is becoming a major concern for national defense. But let's start with the basics. Just how much has the military shrunk and why?
Well, according to the Ministry of Defense, the active duty force has dropped from about 560,000 in 2019 to just 450,000 in mid-2025, a loss of 110,000 personnel in 6 years. And the decline is largely driven by of course, a sharp drop in the number of eligible young men given South Korea's world lowest birth rate, which was around 0.75 in 2024. But this change affecting how is this change affecting the ground force structure? That's the very important question here. And the army actually experienced a significant reduction from 300,000 soldiers down to roughly 205,000 in the same period, a drop of nearly 100,000 troops. And consequently, 17 division level units have been disbanded or merged, reducing from 59 to 42 such formations.
Yeah, I feel like travel around the country sometimes, like randomly, you'll see like battalions,
right?
Barracks that are no longer in existence. Like it's just empty. It's not used anymore. But the level of downsizing must deeply affect the readiness. Like what are some of the key risks?
Yeah, analysts warn that this puts the military below the minimum required force level, which has traditionally been around 500,000 personnel and is now undershot by 50,000 troops. And the disbanding of divisions increases each remaining unit's operational burden and, of course, may compromise response capabilities along the tense border with North Korea. And also to talk about leadership and career path, officer numbers are falling as well, even with efforts to relax conscription standards, increasing eligibility from 69.8% to 86.7%. The decline in officer recruitment just continues. In 2019, the officer selection rate was around 90%. By 2024, it had collapsed to nearly 50%, raising concerns about long-term force sustainability.
There was a lot of things like where you would be medically exempt for, like, if you were flat-footed,
you can't go.
You can't go to the military. I think they've made it tougher now.
And your weight too.
Your weight too. But they also, not only did they increase the weight limit, so that, more people can go to military. Flat-footedness, now they actually measure the angle of your foot or something like that. So it has to be a certain degree in order for you to be exempt from military. Before, if you have dislocated shoulders, also you couldn't go. That was another thing. But now they're easing all of this.
Right.
It also used to be that if you had too much tattoos, you couldn't go to the military. But then they realized
now you can go without erasing the tattoos.
Now they're saying that because so many people have tattoos now, it's you still will go.
Oh.
There was
if it's like a small one.
If it's a small one or there's a certain percent of how much it covers your body or something like that.
That makes sense.
They've increased the percentage now because they were saying that we're exempting too many people. We need soldiers right now. But how is the Defense Ministry responding to these demographic challenges, though?
Well, they're pursuing a multi-pronged strategy, reducing reserve personnel, expanding female recruitment, offering incentives for short-term service, and even considering broader use of civilian specialists for non-combat roles. And there's also talk of deploying unmanned systems, drones, and AI to compensate for dwindling manpower. And bigger structural reforms are also under discussions. Some voices in Korea believe it may be time to gradually shift to a selective volunteer-based military rather than mandatory compulsory service only. But moving away from mandatory conscription is a major cultural shift in a country where serving in the military is considered a rite of passage for young men. And now to talk about how South Koreans perceive these changes. There's, of course, growing unease, and many fear that if the force shrinks too much, South Korea's defense posture, even with advanced technology and strong alliances, will be weaker. And that said, some argue that technological upgrades can partially compensate, especially in broader border defense and cyber warfare domains. But things are not that simple. So to summarize, South Korea's military is facing a serious manpower squeeze caused by declining birth rates, leading to structural changes and readiness concerns. And the government is responding with incentives, tech, and organizational reform. But the long-term path remains uncertain, and that's the reality.
Yeah, so one of the things that I think they were talking about is do it the American way, which is not a mandatory conscription, but make it a
voluntary enlistment system.
Yeah, like enlistment, and you get a lot of benefits. They pay for your school. It becomes a job. You get a contract. You get paid a certain amount. Things like that, right? Things like that. And so, but I think still right now, that's anytime you talk about the military, it's a very controversial topic. And so, I think that's been shot down right now. But I don't know. I mean, eventually, they were saying that, the numbers are going to go down even further. We have that, what is it? What is that thing called? Oh, my goodness. I haven't done... When you want to get a new apartment, the lottery system.
청약?
Oh, yeah, 청약. They were saying later on that's going to be obsolete. Why would you need a lottery system for apartments? Because there's not going to be enough people to fill those apartments in the first place. So these are big issues right now.
And also going back to the voluntary enlistment system, there are also a lot of concerns over that system because people say widen social inequality if mostly lower income individuals enlist for economic regions or benefits, right?
That is a very good point. That is a very good point. Anyways, those were the hot issues made there. Jenga, thank you very much for that. She said there's a new K-pop show that's going to come out in August called K-Popped.
K-Popped.
Wow, big names.
K-Popped.
Do you know
like soda pop?
Yes. Do you know TLC? Do you know TLC?
TLC? No.
Don't Go Chasing Waterfall? Kesha, do you know Kesha?
Kesha?
Yeah. Wake up in the morning feeling like...
Is it a name of a singer? Kesha?
Yes, Kesha.
I think I've heard before. Can you sing it for me? Maybe I will.
Wake up in the morning feeling like...
Of course I do.
She has to change the song now.
Right?
Because it said wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Now you can't say that anymore. What happened in the morning? That's what he almost got into jail for. Anyways, Hae-young, thank you very much for this. Have a fantastic rest of your week. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
Sending her out of the studio, let's take a listen to a song from Kiss of Life with Bad News.